Last time on the Perfect Turd podcast.
He's all creeped out. He was,
woo, hey, what's going on? It's just like, okay.
We get a glimpse at his ass.
Yes.
Thanks.
Our guns are an extension of our penises.
Yeah. And he shoots Denzel.
It wasn't Denzel Washington.
It wasn't?
Oh, here we go.
Well, I'm super disappointed now. Podcast over.
Oh.
And now, the continuation.
So then, fast forward, past, what was it, 4 sequels that movie had?
Something like this.
4 sequels. Then we get to 2018. This is the time of remakes. We have Death Wish 2018.
Yeah.
With Bruce Willis.
John McClane.
John McClane, yeah. that's pretty much what he's known for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a big problem with the way this movie starts.
Okay.
I thought it was ruined in the first 10 minutes.
Okay.
Way different tone. Because It starts off, a policeman is shot and he's racing to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
He gets to the hospital and the emergency room surgeon is Paul Kersey.
Yes. Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
And he's trying to save his life, and ultimately the policeman dies.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes to tell his partner, sorry, your partner's dead, blah, blah, blah. Now, this is a big problem for me.
Okay.
The fact that he's a doctor,
yeah,
emergency room doctor, is a big problem for me. For this reason.
Yeah.
He's seen people shot and killed.
Yes.
He's seen people come in, stabbed, shot, killed. He's had a person die on his operating table.
Yeah.
He's already they set him up to be kind of cold towards this whole thing already.
Mm-hmm.
Where the other guy was just a regular kind of guy. He was kind of oblivious to the crime.
Mm-hmm.
So you've kind of ruined that that whole aspect of the character.
Because he sees it more than the original Paul Kersey.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Yeah.
It kind of ruined it for me a bit. But yeah, then it goes back, he goes home, blah, blah, blah.
He has a daughter.
Yep.
And a wife.
And a wife.
Yes.
And a creepy brother.
He was.
We gotta talk about him.
I don't think he was creepy. He was the black sheep of the family. He's like the failure.
Yeah, what do you have, like a gambling problem or something?
I think he had a conviction on him.
Okay. But he just had a kind of a weird disposition about him.
Yeah.
Kind of weird. I don't know. There was something about him.
Yeah. He's the black sheep because he has to ask, Bruce Willis for money and stuff like that. So, but then, he goes home. His daughter gets accepted to, where was it again? Oh, New York, because she's wearing the frickin' thing.
Oh, yeah. They're doing the reverse.
Yes.
Because this film takes place in Chicago.
Yes. So then, they find out she gets accepted to New York. They're getting ready, I think, the soccer game, where we meet the most passionate sports father ever in a film. Like, this guy in this movie is just a fucking asshole. Like, he's like cursing at the kids. Like, what is he saying? Like, that's a fucking It's like, what are you doing?
Once again, that almost kind of the same. Just too much.
Way too much.
Putting it on too much.
Yeah, because I think Bruce Willis, of course he hears it, and he kind of tells the dude, like, hey, man, calm down. Like, but then the guy's like, well, F you, man. It's like, dude, it's soccer.
Yeah.
And then they almost get into it, but then Bruce Willis kind of backs down.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go to lunch, then they go to dinner where they're doing a bunch of exposition because they have to set up where the mother and the daughter get attacked.
Mm-hmm.
The valet, he gets a picture of their address in the Bluetooth.
Right.
In the GPS. So now he knows their location, because I guess now this kid is also a criminal.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce Willis gets a call that he has to help some patient, and then that cancels the dinner. And then they go and just try to make some dinner, at home, and then that's when they get attacked.
Yeah, they get attacked, and here's another kind of where I think they messed up the story again.
Okay.
The criminals come in just to steal, essentially.
Right.
Now, there's one guy that's a bit of a creep.
Yeah, you gotta have that part of it.
That it seems like he's gonna rape her.
Yeah.
But the other guys are there just for business.
Yeah.
They're like, man, stop messing around. We're just here for the money, blah, blah, blah. They get into the safe. They're about to leave. And then they decide to hit the criminal.
Yeah.
The creepy guy.
Yeah.
She slashes him with a knife or something, or a scissor or something.
And exposes his face.
Exposes his face, and now they have to kill her.
Yeah.
I mean, everything, they were going to just leave him.
Yeah.
They were about to leave him.
Yeah.
And she was like, I'll just slash his face. And it was kind of weird to do that.
If she would have never done anything.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of a weird choice. So yeah, you're in the same situation. The mom dies. The girl didn't get raped in this film.
No.
But they roughed her up.
I think they shot her, didn't they?
I think you might be right. She ends up in a coma.
Yes.
Now he's pissed.
Yeah. He's pissed off because he has to he goes to the funeral for his wife, and then here's another kind of tie-in. Well, it's not tie-in. Well, it's kind of related. This time, the wife is from Texas. So we get that old Western thing back again, because they bury her next to her mother who had died before, and then like they're driving from the funeral, and then the father just stops and takes out a gun to shoot two, what was it? Poachers. And then that's when he's like, that's why we do things on our own. And so it's kind of like that same beat in the original where I think that was like the spark for him to get his own gun and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they had another kind of funny thing. He goes to a gun store. Yeah. And they just make it into the most generic gun crazy people.
The commercial. The commercial was crazy.
Yeah.
And then, he actually doesn't buy a gun.
No, yeah, right. At that point, no.
There's a guy that comes in, and he has a gun hanging out of his pants.
Yeah, guy comes into the ER shot from a crime.
Which may lead into kind of the overdoing it element, because I don't know, but don't they search people who get shot and stuff like that for weapons and stuff like that?
Probably so. I mean,
that gun just falls out.
Yeah, it just falls out underneath the operating table or whatever.
Yeah.
And Paul Kersey picks it up.
Yeah.
And he just puts it in his pants. And then he goes to practice shooting. He starts watching YouTube videos to learn how to shoot and how to take care of a gun.
Yeah. I don't know about that part.
Yeah.
Because I'm not trying to like diss anybody on YouTube, but I don't know if that's like one of the things you want to learn off of YouTube. Because okay, Paul Kersey is a doctor. Like, if you're going to look to be a doctor, you're not going to go on YouTube, how to be a doctor. Like, no, you're not going to do that. Because you're training with an actual weapon.
Right. Whatever,
whatever floats your boat movie.
And then he starts looking for crime. Some woman was getting mugged.
Yeah.
By these two guys, and he decides to intervene.
Mm-hmm. Well, in that whole scene, I think she was like with her husband or something like that, because they pull her out of the car. Mm-hmm. But whatever. The car, these guys have guns. Mm-hmm. They have automatic rifles.
Yeah. And
they're shooting at him, but then they, make him go into cover. They get the car. They start driving towards him. He's able, and this is just him practicing by himself.
Right.
He's able to get damn near a headshot jumping out of the way from a car headed right to him.
Well, he's John McClane, don't you know?
He's not John McClane in this movie. He's Paul Kersey, and I'm not sure if Paul Kersey is that good of a shot yet. That scene, I think I saw that in the trailer, and I was like, what the fuck?
So you're trying to tell me he's Rey from Star Wars, and miraculously knows how to do things.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Without any training.
Well, I will say this. Rey at least had the Force.
Okay.
Paul Kersey.
He has the Force, too.
Well, how does he have the Force?
He's got the John McClane Force.
Okay, so the John McClane Force transfers over, movies, I guess.
Apparently so.
Because he can shoot at a freaking car coming at him and get a headshot. And then so he kills the two guys robbing him.
All the while, some girl was just sitting in a Windows video on her phone the whole time.
More social commentary.
Yeah.
And so she's taking this whole thing. Oh, well, you did mention how, he doesn't know how to shoot the gun right, so it hits him in the hand.
Yeah.
That's something that comes up later, because that's I think the cops, the detectives.
There's a detective, kind of the same thing. The same detective he keeps going to try to get some information on the crime that happened to his family. That guy now has ended up looking for the vigilante, and they had a name for it. They didn't call him vigilante. What did they call him? The Reaper.
The Reaper. Yeah, the Reaper.
The Reaper.
The Reaper, because he wore a hoodie.
Yeah.
Blah
Blah blah.
Yeah.
And
but this detective wasn't an asshole.
Right. He was actually literally trying to help. He was just inundated with crime.
Yeah.
But he does figure out later on in the movie that the shooter is left-handed.
Yes.
By the trajectory of one of the shots in another kind of scene that we're going to talk about.
Yes.
And then Kersey has a cut on his left hand in between his thumb and his pointing finger.
Yeah.
So that's how he starts to put it together, the detective.
Mm-hmm.
So now all of a sudden he's just in it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, the difference between these two movies. There wasn't that slow kind of falling into it.
Very true.
He just shoots one guy and he's like, oh shit, I like this. And he just starts shooting a bunch of people.
Like you said, it's the John McClane force.
Yeah.
It really is heavy in this movie. Like, he just jumps right into it, because the next one is the ice cream man scene.
Ah, talk about that.
Oh, God. So, a kid comes into his ER, and this kid gets shot in the leg. He's like, well, what happened to you? He's like, well, the ice cream man shot me in the leg, and if you don't sell for the ice cream man, he hurts you, and if I don't do it, he's going to kill me or whatever.
Yeah.
So then I think he finds out like where the kid came out of and all this stuff, gets another hoodie. He walks up to, and this is the social commentary about Chicago. They're like black gangsters. Okay, the ice cream man. So when someone has like, a name, like, street name, criminal name, whatever, doesn't matter where you are.
He's so badass they have to give him a name.
He's so badass, and I guess it's also a way where you don't have to give out your government.
Right.
But it is also how badass you are.
Mm-hmm.
But as he walks up, Paul Hersey, Bruce Willis, walks up, Ice Cream Man is literally sitting outside in front of an ice cream thing.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what criminals do, Joe.
No. Especially the top guy.
Yeah.
The top guy is not just sitting out.
And everybody's just like dropping shit off, and it's kind of like, I don't think anyone's that stupid. Just to be outside, and literally, it's almost like, this is damn near a comic book. Like, what's next? The Riddler's gonna come out? Because he's sitting right in front of an ice cream truck thing, and people are dropping off money.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, God.
And here comes Paul Kersey.
Paul Kersey.
Waltzes right up to him.
And even Ice Cream Man takes out his gun, which is gold, because he's gangster.
Yeah.
We gotta put that down there. And then he's like, yeah, I'm the Ice Cream Man, and you want to... he says something to the effect of, Bruce Willis,
who are you, or something.
Yeah, and he's like, well, this is... the ice cream store is closed, and then just shoots him. And everyone just runs away.
Oh, he goes, I'm your last customer.
Yeah.
And he shoots him.
His underlings and him, they just sit and watch this happen as they get shot and killed.
Yeah, he just walks in, shoots him, and walks out.
Yeah.
And then when the cops come later to interview witnesses, they're like, I don't know, some white dude just walked up and killed the ice cream man.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Great.
Because that's how it happens. And that's when, I think, because that scene was also in the trailer, I damn near was like, this is a sci-fi movie. Because that would never happen. First of all, you're not going to get that far with somebody like just pushing up, like, who the fuck are you here? And then an actual gangster sitting outside with the name of Ice Cream Man with an ice cream stand thing to give himself away. So then we move on.
We do move on.
And then... is this the part where I think the guy that was their valet, he had an MJ tattoo?
That guy gets killed.
He gets killed.
Comes in the emergency room.
And then he puts it together because one of the watches that was stolen from Bruce Willis's house, Paul Kersey's, he's wearing it.
He's wearing it, yeah.
And then she's like, oh, so this guy knows something. And I think he finds out where he got killed. And then he goes to find the people that actually killed his wife and child. Yeah.
Yeah, at that point, he really could have just said to the police, hey, a guy came in my ER, this tattoo, I'm pretty sure this is my watch. But, yeah, he just decided to take matters into his own hand. He goes to, like, a club or...
it's like a bar.
Like a bar.
Yeah.
Or like a... yeah, I guess it's just a bar, a social club.
Yeah.
Where criminals hang out.
Yes.
And he kills one dude.
Yeah. Finds all his shit.
Finds all his shit that they stole from him.
Yeah.
And his watch and all this. But before he does that, the other guy texts Fish.
Fish.
Who was the actual guy that killed his... the guy that got cut in the face.
Yeah.
And that killed his family.
Yeah.
Or his wife. Which, in the original, they never do find the actual guys. that do anything with his family.
Which is very
So
interesting.
it leaves it wide open. He's
Yeah.
just wanting justice all around.
Yeah.
He's just tired of seeing people in his neighborhood pushed around, all of this. And this one, it becomes literally a generic action film where he's trying to find the big boss.
Yeah.
And the big boss calls him on the phone, mysterious phone call. Meet me at the club in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And they get into a shootout there, and it's a
Yes.
whole thing. Then he goes back to the hospital to see his daughter. She wakes up from the coma.
Mm-hmm.
And they're leaving. She's good. They're going home. They're in the elevator.
Yes.
And who's there is Fish.
Fish, because he went to the ER.
Yeah, he goes to the ER.
And then that's how he rats out Paul Kersey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then he realizes that Fish is going to try to kill him.
Yes.
Him and his daughter at his house. So he goes to buy guns.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, it literally becomes a generic act. It goes completely different from the original.
Yes.
Which is a gritty, about a regular guy doing this. And becomes an action film. Guys busting to his house.
Mm-hmm.
And he's taking them out one by one like Rambo style or like John McClane style.
Yeah.
It's Die Hard. It becomes Die Hard at the end.
Yes. The John McClane force just comes right into this movie at the end.
Yeah, and kind of same thing. He kills the bad guys, and the cops come. The inspector,
Yeah.
who by this point realizes Paul Kersey is the guy. He's the Reaper.
Yep.
And he basically tells him the same thing from the original, like, so you're done?
Yeah.
Or he's like, he goes, are we done here? Or something like this. And he goes, yeah, it's over. And it ends kind of the same. He's on the streets of New York, and it was kind of weird because it was literally in the middle of an intersection.
Yeah.
What was that? Am I correct on that?
Yeah, it was in the middle of an intersection where a guy just decides to steal some shit.
Yeah.
And he goes, hey. Yeah.
Yeah, so he managed to find the least busiest intersection in all of New York City.
Yeah.
Where there's not a car in sight, where these guys just steal something.
Yeah.
And he steps out so he can do the thing. And that's the way it ends.
And then AC/DC Black and Black.
Yeah. So let's just give our opinions on which one you think is better.
It's hard for me to say because for me it probably comes down to taste.
Okay.
Like for the first one, number one, the rape stuff, yeah.
It's a little exploitive.
Very exploitive.
Yeah.
I like the 2018 where you don't have that in there. I understand it's probably like, where it's like the damn you, I'm going to do what I have to do for my family.
Mm-hmm.
But I prefer it not to be that visceral. It's the heavy-handedness of the themes of the movies. That's one of the things that just kind of bothered me because I feel like that is kind of like, it's like politics over substance.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like you said for like the second one, for 2018, he just becomes a badass.
Yeah.
He's not really like getting into like this mode of being a vigilante, which even though Charles Bronson doesn't really act that much, you could see more of it affecting him.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
2018, 2018, I guess that's my choice. Literally, that's it. Yeah. So, what about you?
All right. Well, I'm gonna say the original.
Okay.
Because the new one I didn't really like at all. Because it was kind of that generic, modern day action.
Super generic.
Towards the end, I started getting this feeling, perhaps,
From which one?
from the new one,
Yeah.
that maybe this was just a script that was kind of around about a kind of a vigilante type thing. And they were like, man, we can get Bruce Willis. Okay, we have a Bruce Willis movie.
Yeah.
What can we call it? Well, it's kind of similar to Death Wish. And they just named it Death Wish.
You know what? That is possible because this movie has been in development for a long time. It was like, I think they were talking about like Liam Neeson being a part of it for a minute.
Right.
So it was one of those things that was on. It's like, generic.
Yeah, it's a generic vigilante movie, which we've seen a billion times since the original Death Wish.
And if you put the Death Wish name on it,
Right.
now it's Death Wish.
Yeah, I'm wondering.
Yeah.
Now. Who knows? But yeah, I pick original.
Yeah.
Lamar picks 2018.
Like, would I be like telling people to go see it? I'd be like, well, if you ain't got shit to do,
Right.
Like, I don't know. Like, could it work as a show? Because then
Death Wish show?
the Death Wish show, because the problem is, like with 2018, is like the development of it. like the development of the character of Paul Kersey. I think maybe I turn everything into a show if I don't like it. I think I've done that many times.
Sometimes that's all we need. It's just one really unique thing, and then that's it.
Yeah. But that is gone, Joe. That is gone. They will remake everything.
Yeah? You think they'll remake us someday?
Probably.
Someday they'll like... Yeah, you imagine like when we're too old someday?
Yeah.
And we can like pass it on, like the Perfect Turd podcast to someone else?
Yeah. But then they'll do it with like CGI.
You think so?
Yeah. I mean...
You think they would make it look like us or just two other guys?
I don't know, man.
Who can they be like?
I mean, they made CGI for frickin' Rogue One.
True.
Yeah.
Oh, could you imagine just the CGI versions of us? I think it'd be better just two new guys.
Two new guys.
People watching this are like, yeah, two new guys would be great right now.
They don't believe in us, Joe. They don't believe in us.
But, so I have see, now here's the thing. Because my name is like kind of generic, Joe.
Joe.
So we need like another generic, John.
John.
And then you have a cool name, Lamar.
Lamar.
So what can we see?
I don't know.
What's a cool name that's like unique?
That's unique?
Yeah, something that has a good flair like your name.
Lamar.
Lamar and Joe. And we have John.
John.
And
I don't know.
Enrique.
Enrique?
I don't know.
It could work. John and Enrique.
No, it's got
it has to start with an L?
Yeah, let's make what's an L? Lamont. Like from
Lamont?
Yeah,
Sanford and Son? Then people are going to be like, Sanford and Son?
Okay.
Perfect Turd Podcast, Sanford and Son.
LeBron. John and LeBron.
John and LeBron, that rhymes.
I like that.
Boom. John and LeBron, the new Perfect Turd Podcast, 40 years later.
For the remake.
They'll probably have us in a spaceship or some shit.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Ooh, this is what it is. John and LeBron hosting the Perfect Turd Podcast, but instead they're in like a hover car because they're cops.
There you go.
And they review B movies.
There might not be crime. There'll have to be something other than cops.
What would they be?
In case there's no crime. Space cowboys.
Space cowboys? Like bounty hunters or some shit?
Yeah,
they fly around and they're finding... No, there won't be criminals here. There'll be criminals when we finally... in space and shit. Right. Yeah.
So they're regulating space.
John and LeBron, Perfect Turd Podcast.
3028.
Yeah, 3028.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that wraps episode number 12 of the podcast, Perfect Turd Podcast.
Yes.
God damn it.
Yeah, you got it. They understand.
Death Wish versus Death Wish.
All
right. Thanks.
Deuces.
Peace.